is Dany from Metal Talk, and today I'm here with our H of Acid Rain. Hello, Howard, how are you?
I am very well, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. So, how's the lockdown treating you? What have you been have you picked up any hobbies?
Well, look, you know, we're like any other group of individuals, so it's the same things really. Some are working, some aren't. Some are in high risk groups, some aren't. We've all got our friends and relatives to look after and to care for us as well. And you know, we're all just trying to get through it as best we can. I mean, obviously, the video we recently released makes it look like we all live in the same house with Suzanne Vega in a cupboard, funnily enough.
Yes.
But yeah, I can assure you that's not the case. We're scattered to four corners of the UK, so we have a group WhatsApp, and we keep dipping in and out of that. But you know, it's the same as everyone, really. You know, we're all in the same boat, which has been my motto right from the very beginning of all of this. It still amazes me, some of the attitudes at the moment. I had a tweet this morning from somebody asking if our gig in Cardiff in June was definitely on. And I'm like, do you not watch the news? Are you completely unaware of what's going on? You know? Yeah, it's kind of weird because everybody wants to know. We're all in the same boat. By the way, I've taken your question and I've run with it. This is what I do. Okay.
Yeah, please go.
So all of us bands are in the same problem, in the same boat, because what we're all doing is going, right, okay, we need to reschedule. When for?
Exactly. We
don't know. I mean, I personally, I would say towards the end of 2021. Over a year away. I don't think there'll be any live shows in 2020 at all. Sorry, Evil Scarecrow and all the rest of you guys who announced a tour in December, which was brave / really. It's not going to happen. It's just not.
I'm with you on that one, actually. I'm in a band myself, so I
Oh, cool. What's the name of the band?
The Heretic Order. I think we supported you, or we were supposed to support you, or something like that. So there you go. We're on the same circuit.
The Heretic Order.
Yes, I'm the bassist.
I know the name. Is that been lifted? That's lifted from a song of someone's, isn't it?
No, not a song. No, but the guitar, right. the kind of like brains of the band, the frontman and writer and guitarist is the guitarist of Breed 77. I don't know if you remember them.
I remember Breed 77 very well. Yeah, I did.
Dany Jones. Very cool.
Cool. Yeah, so you know, and we're all, like I said, you know, it's kind of like, well, reschedule, but for when? Because what we don't, I mean, I said right at the beginning of this, I don't want to keep rescheduling. Now, our agent put out a brilliant email to all of our promoters saying, look, guys, whilst we hope things will go ahead, you know, we need to kind of think about some sort of, you know, mid to late 2021 dates. One of the promoters came back and moved the show from earlier in the year to Halloween, August the 31st, mate. Sorry, October 31st, mate. What are you doing? Will not listen to reason. Won't listen to the fact that the government have extended the furlough period until October.
Yeah.
That's the government saying there's going to be a load of people not being allowed in work because of coronavirus. But we're going to have a fucking gig. Honestly, it's really, really weird. But the thing is, what you don't want to do is piss on people's enthusiasm. But by the same token, I'm an optimist. Always have been, always will be. But PMA, and you've got to be positive in the face of a fucking virus, is delusional. Yeah. If you think your PMA is going to lead to us returning to normal quicker, then you are deluded, and seek help. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. You know, there is no this whole be positive kind of attitude does my head in. It's like, no, be pragmatic,
be realistic.
sensible. Yeah, exactly. That's the perfect word. Be realistic.
Thank you. Yeah. Fair enough. Anyway, let's talk about the band and happier things. So
yes.
I'm very intrigued. Where does the name come from?
Oh, funnily enough, I haven't had this question for ages, and I had it yesterday, and I'm getting it today. The name came from our bass player. When we were 16, we'd had loads of band names. We kept changing them, never found one we were happy with. He came in, said Acid Rain, and we went, yep, fine. There's the spelling. He drew the logo, job done.
Excellent. Okay.
33 years ago, the name means nothing to me at all. It's just a name.
Okay. Well, I'm happy with that.
we were just relieved to have a name that, as far as we knew, no one else had, that seemed pretty cool. That's it, fine, take it. We were just so pleased that we felt that we'd finally got a name, because we had literally friends of ours would say, like, what's the name of the band this week? That was a running joke. So just to be able to get a name and settle on it, that was fine.
Well, you're changing names every week. Is that what you're saying?
We were changing name. We were changing name all the time. All the time. I mean, God, we had them all. I'm trying to remember. Tarot, Relentless, Unleashed, all sorts of crap names. But I shouldn't say that, actually, because there's probably like bands out there with those names now. But it solved a problem for us.
Fair enough. It's a really cool name. That's why I asked. I really like it, actually. Yeah, very cool. So obviously you're the sole original member. There were like two phases. Shall we call it Acid Rain 1 and then 2.0? 1985 to 1981.
1991, yeah.
1991, sorry, yes.
And we didn't go back in time. We hadn't.
No, you didn't. Yeah. No,
yet.
Exactly. That wasn't Back to the Future, was it?
Yeah.
Obviously, you've been touring with lots of bands like Exodus, Nuclear Assault, Dark Angel, Flotsam and Jetsam. Do you have any crazy stories of that time back then?
Absolutely tons, and I'm
sure you have.
And they can all be watched in my solo spoken word show, which is called Tales from the Book of Thrash. It's a 90-minute show that I do, that I've been doing up and down the country for the last sort of 2 years. I haven't done any for a while, actually, but yeah, I mean, we've got just some absolutely total insanity, including arrests, mass punch-ups, hospital. The tour being followed by the German police. Literally, we park in the tour. We park in a bus car park, and then literally about probably 10-15 minutes later, we'd get like the local German police would arrive, and there'd be like 3 vans full of like police, and they'd sit there and just watch the bus until we left the following day, because we'd had some issues, and honestly, it was the actions of people who are young, crazy, and stupid. But yeah, I mean, I can't really go into too much detail, because it's I do when I'm doing my show, because it's there's a lot of illegal behaviour in there. So yeah, but one thing we did do, one of our first gigs ever in Europe was in Belgium. In fact, it was our first ever European gig, and we'd done a load of UK dates, and we were with Nuclear Assault, and we were, in fact, we were on that tour, and we went to Belgium, and this was like about date 12 or whatever, and we got to this dressing room. We were shown in the dressing room, and there was Nuclear Assault's dressing room, and then there was a couple of other dressing rooms. We were told there was 4 bands on. And we had a look around, and we got stuck in this dressing room. And they said, "Oh, we'll just put you in here for now." So they put us in this dressing room, and there was all this gorgeous food lying around, and fridge full of beer. So we went, right, okay. Before we get moved out of here, we just emptied the fridge, right? And we all sort of walked out casually, clinking, with our coats on. We all sort of casually, one by one, walked out, put all the beer on the bus, and put it in the bus fridge. And then we went and we carried on and sat down. So anyway, and we were sat there. About an hour later, some bloke comes in and goes, "Everything all right, guys?" And we went, yeah. Just wondering when we're going to get moved to our dressing room. And they went, "No, this is your dressing room." I went, "What?"
You stolen your own rider.
Stole it, yeah. We raided our own fridge and stole all our own beer. Now
Well done.
we had to walk out. Now we had to walk out to the bus every time we wanted a fucking beer.
Excellent.
Like, what?
Score.
Absolute dickheads. There you go.
Well, you know, how am I not surprised? You are very renowned for being, obviously, you know, the fire starter. Even on stage, you have an amazing presence. You incite people. You want them to mosh, to, you know, invade the stage and jump around and just cause havoc and stuff. Have you ever gotten in trouble while you were performing with either the promoters or security, or, you know, a crowd that was out of control or things like that?
Well, no, we've never had a crowd out of control. And that's not really our vibe. I mean, it's kind of funny because people who haven't seen us before or don't really know the band that well think that our live shows are just like this hilarious party, and they are to a certain extent. But they're also some of the most violent and brutal shows out there. I mean, our guys are, you know, our crowd are well known for their ability to get on any stage and get off it again. And for instance, we still hold the Sophie Stage crowd surfing record at Bloodstock, which
Wow.
over the course of an hour and 20 minutes, we had more than 5 people a minute going over the barriers for the whole fucking show.
You headlined in 2016.
Yeah, that was 2016. Yeah, in fact. There we go.
Brilliant. Yes.
Up there. There's always something. There's always something nearby. So yeah, it's kind of like, you know, we've got some serious dedicated followers, and our shows have always been insane, kind of mad. But no, I mean, recently we played Uprising in Leicester, and I was told that I was in trouble after the show. And I was like, "Why is that?" And they said, "Well, you did a PA dive. You're not supposed to get on the PA. You certainly wasn't supposed to dive off it, etc., etc." We have a card system in place, and there was a bloke running around in the photographer's pit waving a red card. And I even at the time, I remember thinking, "I wonder what he's doing."
What, like football?
Yeah. They have a card system, a yellow and a red card system. But the weird thing is, get this. The weird thing is, right? Afterwards, they're saying, "Well, we've got a card system and you shouldn't have this, blah, blah, blah." I was like, "Right, okay. Can I just make one point?" They were like, "Yeah." I said, shouldn't you have actually had a conversation with me before we went on stage? Because everything you've just told me, I would have obeyed by, but you're telling me after we've come off. I didn't know there was a card system in place. I didn't. If you tell me not to do stuff, believe it or not, because a lot of people will say, "Oh, if you tell him not to do it, he'll do it anyway." No, funnily enough, if you tell me not to do stuff, I won't do it. For instance, if you tell me not to climb on the PA and dive off it, then I won't, because you're being told that for a good reason. That venue could have, you know, the local authority might be watching them, particularly at the moment. You know, there might be somebody in from the local council. Dickhead here climbs up on a PA and dives off, and they lose their fucking license.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, and it's not clever to be, "Oh, I was told not to, but I did it anyway." That's not clever. It's just being a dick. So
we're adults, right?
You know, I will always, you know, I don't want to put anybody's health at risk, apart from maybe my own. I mean, the closest I've got to being in trouble would have been back in the day. It happened more back in the day with security being heavy-handed. But we'll always, you know, if security were heavy-handed, you just stop the show. It's more, to be honest, it's more likely that security are going to cause a problem than anyone in the band or anyone in the crowd. It's more likely that they are going to cause an issue. And going back to that Bloodstock show, we actually encouraged the crowd surfers, because one of the security team actually came to our signing session in the before we did the show and said, "We've had 2 crowd surfers all weekend. Can you keep us busy tonight?" I was like, "You're talking to the right guy." So I told this story to everybody. Before I finished the story, people were coming over the barriers. We weren't even playing any music, but people were already going, "Right, yeah, let's have it." And at the end of our show, and I've got it on video, it's fucking amazing. At the end of our show, I say, and, you know, massive shout out to security, and the whole crowd cheers the security, and all of the security guards climb up onto the barrier and applaud the crowd, and the crowd were applauding the security. And honestly, it was a genuine kind of like one of those moments when you're on stage and just go, fucking hell, wow, that's amazing.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but in my experience, I always find that Bloodstock, there's an amazing atmosphere, and yeah, even the security, you know, in places securities don't really understand the type of audience, especially if they're not from that kind of subculture. But at Bloodstock, nothing like that at all. So everybody just has a really good time. I've never seen any trouble in particular, and
yeah. Also, a big shout out to Shosek here, because it's Shosek who did the security, and it's Shosek who did the security at Bloodstock, who were absolutely amazing. Now, ultimately, if you then go to another show and Shosek are a pack of twats, bear in mind that, as you've just pointed out there, it's all about the venue, the promoters. But if promoters if promoters may well turn around to Shosek at a particular venue and say, right, I don't want anyone near the fucking stage. Anyone tries to get on the stage, anyone comes over the crowd, you give them a kick and you throw them back in. And if they come over again, you throw them out or beat the shit out of them. You know, or you know, whereas obviously Bloodstock take their time to speak to security and say, look, you know, this is what we need from you. But you have to have that conversation. People have to have those conversations.
Absolutely. They need a good briefing.
Because I've had bad experiences with Shosek before, as I think as I think everybody has. But that's it's very much a case of what the promoter wants, the promoter gets.
Fair enough. Your song "Motherly Love," though, is still like the one that people literally lose their shit to. Obviously, it's from the old days with Moshkinstein.
Moshkinstein, well done.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mouthful. How do you feel? I find, it's hard to define you. You're kind of like a crossover between hardcore, thrash metal. I could hear a lot of influences, Black Sabbath, Megadeth, Metallica, but then you've got all the, agnostic front, stuff like that, obviously that type of vocal and stuff. Do you find that because of that, you attract, different types of audiences, which is obviously a good thing?
That's a great question. I mean, we attract Acid Rain fans mainly, funnily enough. But basically, I think our music does cross over. We all, back in the day, especially, noticed it more then because everything's more homogenous now. But back in the day, there was a very clear, big, there's our crowd, bunch of metalers, and then you would have the punk guys, and there was never any trouble. But we would get punks at our shows all the time, including Watty from The Exploited, who was a big fan. Every time we played Edinburgh, he was always there, always on the guest list because we were virtually on the same label. Always on the guest list. He used to come in with his mates, sit at the back, watch, and leave. I've never met him. He's seen us play about 5 or 6 times, but I've never met him. And I think the reason for that is with the live shows. I think yes, there's a kind of tinge of sort of punky hardcore, which I think comes from my vocals, which comes from my influences. But also, I think what the punks recognised was that we didn't give a fuck. It's like we weren't punk because punk was not giving a fuck and telling everybody you don't give a fuck and telling everybody again about how much you don't give a fuck. Whereas we just didn't give a fuck. Our live shows are just like whatever, whatever happens, happens. And I think that really, that appealed to punks from the point of view. It's like, well, these guys are metal, but they are playing very fast, very heavy music. Clearly don't give a fuck, and their gigs are chaos.
Yeah.
So I'm going. I don't care what kind of fucking music it is.
Definitely.
So I'm
sorry.
No, it's all right. So that's definitely something I noticed. I remember kind of noticing at the time, back in the day. I remember noticing at the time, thinking, "Wow, this is really cool."
Yeah, no, I mean, guaranteed a good time for sure. I've been to your shows, and you can definitely see, the crowd. I mean, the atmosphere is electrifying. So that's really, really good fun.
Where did you see this?
I think we supported you. I can't remember where, but I'm pretty sure we did.
It wasn't in Burnley, was it?
I'll have to double check on that. We have done quite a few. Last year we've been mega busy ourselves. We played Hammerfest, and we even played Bloodstock 2 years ago. So yeah, I'll let you know on that.
Yeah, please do.
So obviously, you know, you were the original member of the band. What happened? Why did you disband? And then what have you been up to in the 24 years?
Well,
you know, and then how did you get back? Like one day you decided, oh, let's form the band again.
No, none of it was my idea. It was all Kev's. Basically, why did we split up? Same reason everyone else split up. We split up. The following week, Sabbath split up. 2 weeks after that, Onslaught split up. So I think that answers your question as to why we split up. A lot of people go, oh, Thrash never died. Well, it went into a fucking coma then, because from what I remember, being in a thrash band, none of you came to gigs anymore or bought records. So don't tell me it fucking never died, because it killed plenty of careers when it went into its coma, including ours and Sabbaths and Onslaughts and everybody else. But, you know, when you're part of a scene, you go down with the ship. When you're part of the scene, you get all the benefits of that whilst the scene is in vogue and popular. And then when the scene goes down the tubes, you go down with it, and there ain't nothing you can do about it. So such is life. I went to Newcastle. I joined a band called Strange Thing. I had a load of lyrics, and they had a load of music. So we played together for a couple of years. That didn't really work. I decided to move into stand-up. I'd always really wanted to do stand-up. I knew that was something I wanted to do. So I moved to London. I've been doing stand-up for 26 years.
Oh, wow.
And then in 2013, I went to a Lawnmower Death Christmas gig, and Kev was there, and he said, how you doing? I said, I'm fine. And he said, did you know Obnoxious is going to be 25 years old in 2015? I said, yes, I did. And he said, yeah, fancy doing some gigs to celebrate it? I was just like, what? Because Kev was like, you know, just never, ever expressed any interest whatsoever on ever doing any gigs or anything like that. I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, do you want to do some? I was like, okay. And so I approached the rest of the guys, and they all said, right, okay, let's figure out how we're going to do this. So at this point, Kev was gonna play when he could. When he wasn't around, Paul, who is in Acid Rain now, was going to fill in as a second, fill in for Kev. We managed 2 or 3 rehearsals, and then over a period of time, basically, long story short, over a period of time, everyone dropped out. I said to Paul, look, we'll definitely work together. We'll definitely do something, even if it's some sort of thrash project. We'll do something. And then I woke up the following morning and just thought, why not call it Acid Rain? So I rang Paul, and he was like, okay. And I rang Mac, and I said, Mac, are you up for it? And he was like, yeah, absolutely. Adam and Ramsey had decided it wasn't for them by then. Kev was still, on board, but in the background and unlikely to be able to do much. So anyway, long, even longer story shorter, Mac eventually just realized he couldn't squeeze it into his life. And I was like, right, okay, we've got to get some new guys. We got a load of new guys and came back in 2015. And here we are.
Excellent. And then you did another album, The Age of Entitlement.
Aha. I was wondering when we were going to get around to this.
We were. But I have to ask you something first. Is it true that you actually won the worst ever metal album cover by Terrorizer for Obnoxious?
In 2009, we finally had a number 1.
I had to look it up, and I was like, okay, yeah, it's fairly, basic, I would say, but I was expecting a monstrosity. It wasn't. It's the point is, as Paul often says, the album's called Obnoxious. The artwork is obnoxious. How fucking easy do we have to make it for people?
Do you know what I mean? But it's like I still see reviews. I saw a review from like 2011. Somebody going, "Oh, this album is terrible. Look at the cover. You can tell the band was in a terrible place because look, pink album." And it's like, fuck you know, really, you know. Yeah. I mean, so yes, it is true. We did win that. Yeah.
Nonsense. They should have listened to it. Right, so yeah, let's talk about the new album. So The Age of Entitlement. Obviously, I've checked out, you know, your videos and listened to it. Some great songs there. The New Law, Ripped Apart. Love the videos. I find there is a newfound darkness to it. It's intense, you know, even the artwork, the colors used, and there's a lot of blacks and reds, and then one talks about war, etc. and stuff. How do you, you know, do you think there's some sort of evolution from the past? How do you differentiate the two, if anything, you know? Or
No, absolutely. I mean, you've picked up on some things there that I'm pleased that people have picked up on. I seem to be being tagged as some sort of social commentator, which is quite funny because the 19, 20-year-old H would have loved that, would have loved to have been perceived as a social commentator because I felt like I was. Now I don't feel like I am because there aren't any songs on the album about society other than New Age Narcissist. The thing is that people have decided that the songs on the album are all about modern society and my take on it. The amount of reviews I've read where like apparently I'm angry with the world and my take on modern society is like, no, it's one song. It's a take on online narcissism, and narcissism, I'm not sure if you're aware, has been around a while, and it's purely a comment on the you know, on that exact type of arsehole that you get on social media. The irony being that millennials have decided that the whole title, the whole concept is a pop at them, which is, funnily enough, quite entitled of them. It isn't. It's about narcissists. Narcissists can be any age. So it's a comment on not the age of people who are entitled. It's that we live in an age of entitlement, which is you can be guilty of entitled behavior whether you're fucking 5 years old or 55 years old. Makes no difference. So that one song is about that, and quite obviously about that. There are no other songs on the album about society. I read United Hates. Somebody said United Hates brackets no prizes for guessing what this is about. Well, they should hand out prizes because you're fucking miles off. People have read the title United Hates, and they have decided that I must be talking about the United States. I must be talking about Donald Trump. I must be talking about capitalism. No, none of those. None of it. There are no songs on the album that are about society or social commentary. None, other than New Age Narcissist. But people have decided there are. So I'll go with that. You know, like I said, young me would have loved to have been this social commentator. People have decided that I am now. There's 3 songs on the album about various states of depression, anxiety, mental illness. That's completely passed everybody by. There's a song on there about my father's death. No one's picked up on that.
Well, I was going to ask you actually, because I did see the end. There was a date, obviously, of. I wondered what the person was. So thank you for answering.
Yes, yeah, exactly. He didn't die in a war. The song's got nothing to do with war. But everyone decided it had, so we went with that visual for the video. But the war is the 6 weeks he spent. My father spent in intensive care, fighting that war.
Very sorry to hear.
That's all right. It's, you know,
personal. Well, it's, you know, that's a metaphor there. I mean, it's the personal war.
Exactly. There are, and it's the use of metaphor. But you know, the thing is, when you put stuff out there, people either don't realize there's a metaphor involved, or they come up with their own metaphor. The actual likelihood of people picking up on exactly what a song is about is almost impossible because they don't live in it. But whatever they think it's about for them, then that's what it's about for them, and that's absolutely fine. That's the way it should be. Art is about perception.
Very true.
As is beauty. How many times you hear it? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Mm.
Exactly. So what's beautiful to you is ugly to me. And the whole point is, just as long as people are reading the lyrics and enjoying them, then that's great. And ultimately, I am. You're right to pick up on what you were saying. The album is darker. I mean, when I was a kid, and the so-called social commentator, when you're younger, or when I was younger, I wrote about what I thought. Now I'm older, I write about what I feel, and those feelings can be dark sometimes. Usually are. The theme with the new album, there's no UKAC, United Kingdom Apple Core, ha 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 ha. There's none of that on the album. We've kind of phased that out. There's no jokes on the album. There's no funny songs. There's no funny song titles. Basically all of the humor and the stupidity and everything is now being contained within our live shows. Our live shows will always be what they've always been, which is total insanity, the best party you've ever been to. Okay, that's what we want to deliver. Okay, but in the past, humor, without a doubt, has detracted from the band, the perception of the band from the outside. So I just don't really want that to happen again this time. Having said that, that's a bit rich coming from somebody who released the Blood and Makes Noise lockdown video last
I was
week.
getting to that.
Yeah.
I loved
Absolutely.
it. That was amazing.
But that is a special occasion, and that's why we did that. And funnily enough, the reason we did it was I saw Sepultura's isolation version of the song Isolation from their new album. And I watched, and they all looked so fucking depressed and stuck at home. And I was like, this is like painful to watch. They are fucking miserable. If we did something like this, it would be, oh, hang on a second. I think I've had an idea. It's like, yeah, if we did something like that, it'd be fucking stupid. So let's do it. And we'd already, but again, the video is carefully, yes, we've already done a video for Blood Makes Noise, but we wanted to do it again for Blood Makes Noise, because if we made a stupid video of one of the other songs off the album, you're tainting the credibility of that song by doing a humorous video to it. So it's like you've taken all the gravitas away from that song now. So that's not what we wanted to do. So it was very, a deliberate choice to make the stupid video of the cover version on the album, which we've already released as a single and a video, but it was the best. It was the best fit as well. So yeah, we did it. And I emailed Suzanne Vega and said, hey, Susie, we're going to do a stupid video for this. Would you be up for filming something on your phone? And she emailed me back half an hour later, and she was like, hey, Howard, yeah, sure. What do you need? I'm just like, this is mad. This is fucking mad. I'm emailing with Suzanne Vega. It says after see ya, Susie, and then it said, sent from my iPhone. She'll have sent that from her iPhone from her flat in New York. It's amazing. It's like, so getting her in the lockdown video is, to me, is as exciting as important. It's like getting her to guest on the song on the album. It's like that again, and she's like posted it on her Facebook page and is and saying to everybody, yes, that's me in the cupboard,
I saw that.
It's just like, that's so cool, it's so cool.
I was gonna ask, how did that come about? It sounds such an unholy alliance. Susan Vega is an American singer-songwriter, folksy type. Obviously, she became mega famous with Luca, that song in the 80s. But Or I mean, I've noticed that you seem to love covers. I mean, you do Blondie as well when you know live.
Hang on. I've got to be careful, because when anyone ever says that, I have to say no. We have never, ever, ever covered a Blondie song. We have covered "Hanging on the Telephone" by The Nerves, which was covered by Blondie.
Oh, fair enough. Yes. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you
We
for
get shit
the
all
correction.
the time. No, it's okay. But well, yeah. I mean, I'll give you the whole story, and I'll try and make it interesting and keep it as rapid as possible. So one night I was sat at home stoned, and I looked across at my CDs, and I thought, wow, those Suzanne Vega CDs over there haven't had a play for a while. So I took them out. Obviously I'm stoned, so I'm like kind of fascinated with them. And I was looking at them, and I was just thinking, I was taking again, stoned. So I'm taking the CD booklet out and looking at it. And as I'm turning the pages, the aroma of the booklet is coming off, and it's like, it smells of youth. It smells of years ago. And then I remember the CDs are holding in my hand. I bought with my my staff discount working for Virgin Records before Acid Rain signed a record deal. So these are, yeah, they're prized possessions. And I remember though, a girlfriend one summer, and I used to walk to her house and walk back at least 2 or 3 times a week, and it would take about 45 minutes to walk there, about 45 minutes to walk back. And I had Suzanne Vega's first album on one side of a C90, and I had Solitude Standing on the second side of the C90. And I'd always, and just, you know, I was into Suzanne Vega. And so I saw these CDs, and I just thought, do you know what? I knew I had a long drive the following day, because I had a comedy show, which was about 4 or 5 hour round trip. So I put the CDs out on my coffee table. I thought, I'm going to take those with me. I'm going to listen to them in the car. So I took them with me. I was listening to them in the car, and Blood Baked Noise came on from 99.9 degrees Fahrenheit. I was driving, and I was like, Blood Makes Noise. I was like, yeah, Blood Makes Noise. Like that. See, now that has got the potential to be a shouty, rocky chorus.
Very true.
So I rang, literally, as soon as the song finished, I rang my guitarist Paul on Hands Free Kids, and I said, look, he's an expert in retooling songs. He's got a YouTube channel called what was it called? Something Roger. I can't remember now, but basically, if you can think of a pop song, he's done a rock metal version of it, and it's on YouTube somewhere. Serious Roger, that's it. Serious Roger is the channel. So
I'll check it out.
Yeah, so I sent it to him, and I said, look, have a look at this. If you think this can be turned into something for us, great. If not, tell me to fuck off. Because the original is, you know, it doesn't, apart from that chorus, there's hardly anything to the verse. You know, there's just like electronic noises.
It's quite electronic, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really eclectic. So I was like, right, didn't hear anything for 2 weeks. I got a phone call from him. Funnily enough, I was another long drive to a comedy show. He rang me up. He goes, "You get my email?" I was like, "No." He goes, "Check your junk. I've sent you an email." So I pulled over at the services, checked the junk, found the email. I had to stream the track because I couldn't download it. Sat in my car, in the car park, played it on the car stereo, and I was just like, fuck me, this is going to work. And so I started singing along to it, got back on the road, driving to the gig, played it 3 or 4 times, singing along to it. And the last verse, that, yeah, there's a ringing in my ear, that, yeah.
Such a hook, isn't it?
I did that on about the 3rd listen, driving down the road, and that is just pure elation. That's pure elation and joy at the fact that, yeah, this is gonna fucking work. This is gonna work. So I was due to go round to Pete's. Pete, our bass player, has a studio in his house. That's where I demo all the vocals. So I went round to his. He was like, "Right, what are we working on today? This one, this one, this one." I was like, I took out a USB and I was like, "All this." And he was like, "Oh, what have you got there?" It's like, "Well, have a listen." So put it in. He was like, "Oh, that's interesting." Like, yeah. So did that. Only Paul, myself, and Pete now knew. Dropped it into the Acid Rain WhatsApp group, and both Cookie and Mark were like, fuck me, that's amazing. We're like, it's a Suzanne Vega cover version. And we're like, really? It's like, yeah, we've got a cover version. We'd been looking for a cover, and every time someone suggested one, there'd be at least one person go,
No.
I'm not performing on that. So it was perfect. We demoed, so that demo that we played to everyone, one day I just thought, right, I'm going to send it to everything I can find connected to Suzanne Vega. I emailed it to her management. I sent it to the Facebook page. I think I tried to directly tweet or send a message, but couldn't manage that. So anyway, 2 weeks passed. Came in from doing a comedy show, sat on my sofa, messaging with people. All of a sudden, ping, there was a message. And I thought, I don't recognise who that is. And I tapped on it. And it was a message from Suzanne Vega, who admins her own Facebook page. And I'd just written a long list basically saying, look, been a fan for years. Nicked a lyric of yours and used it on our album, The Fear, in 1989, which I did. It's in Blind Aggression, but I'm not going to say which one. So big fan. This is a tribute. Hope you like it. It's done with the greatest of respects. Left it at that. 2 weeks later, like I said, got this message. Ping, it comes up, and it just said, in caps, in fact, I'm going to show you. It said, I love it, in caps, because there you go, look. That's a screenshot.
Oh, excellent.
That's a framed screenshot. And look, okay, and if you see there, okay, thanks, email is better. Thanks for this. I mean, how cool is that? It's like, no, Susie, thank you. It's your song, not ours. But yeah, puts me in a really great mood, I must say. Thanks for this. And it's just like, oh my God. So we've stayed in touch ever since. So at each stage, we did the demo. Then I sent her the album version. Was like, would you do that line? And and so she recorded them on her phone, sent them over. We pieced together the best. We pieced together one from all of them and used that. And then told her we were releasing it as a single and the video, and then doing the lockdown. And yeah, she's been great to work with, and a real hero of mine. So I'm just
She's
over the moon, love. Over the moon.
Excellent. She's definitely a great sport. No, I must thank you, because it put me in a great mood as well when I watched the lockdown version. So I just thought that it was hilarious. Good. I loved it.
Thank you. Thank you. And to be honest, that was the whole idea. The only idea, if you've seen any of the sort of bump that's written with it as well, the whole point was just to make people laugh. And funnily enough, I was doing the social media housekeeping this morning, and I was looking at some reactions from people, and somebody who'd shared it, and someone commented on it and just put, this turned up in my news feed, don't know why, but watched it this morning. Brilliant, great song, amazing video, put a big smile on my face to start the day. And I just thought, well, there it is. That was the exact intention behind it.
The goal.
Purely to give people something to enjoy, something to have a laugh about. Yeah,
I did share it myself, so there you go.
Good. Thank you very much.
I'm hoping to cheer a few friends up as well. So I'm kind of conscious of time, because we've just been chatting away. I mean, I can talk to you all day, no problem.
Well, absolutely fine. I've got funnily enough, by the way, sorry, I forgot to mention this. I do this, go off on tangents and forget things. At 7:00 tonight, who am I interviewing for my podcast? Derek Green of Sepultura.
Excellent.
So I've already sent him a link to the video and said, look, you guys inspired this by looking so bored, so this is what we did. And so we had a little bit of a laugh about it, but I'm really looking forward to doing that.
Brilliant. Right, so I just wanted to wrap it up with obviously, as you said, nothing is known for the foreseeable future in terms of gigs and stuff. Did you have to cancel a lot of shows, and were you booked for many festivals?
Well, we've got festivals in Spain and France in October. Now, bless them both. They are both they seem to think it's going to go ahead. I mean, I do not see a festival in any part of Spain going ahead in October. And even if it does, it'll probably go ahead without us, because I can't imagine us being allowed to fly to Spain to do a festival and fly back. I just can't see that being allowed. And the same goes for France as well. But again, you know, you try and explain things to people, and some people just don't want to hear it. You know, some people seem to think that, you know, to bring us down. It's like, it's as bad as the PMA people. Well, it's pretty much the same people. It's like, look, don't bury your head in the fucking sand.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm the same.
Because what we're trying to do is we're trying to say to them, look, there's a chance we won't be there, so you probably need to look for someone else. And they go like, no, it'll be fine. You will be here. Okay, whatever. Yeah, metal. Yeah, that'll fucking get everything sorted, won't it? You know, it's a bit of a weird one. So we had to cancel a load of shows, and we don't know when to we don't know, when to do them for, when to reschedule them for. Obviously, we're on Bloodstock 2021 now instead of 2020, which really looking forward to that, and getting on the main stage and seeing how many crowd surfers that we can get.
Have they confirmed the entire lineup that was supposed to be this year?
Yeah, if you have a look at Bloodstock, it's got all the bands that are confirmed on the poster are confirmed. So we're on there. Violence, Sacred Reich, Judas Priest. They're all listed. I don't think, but it's about 85-90% of bands have all gone. Yep, see you next year.
Excellent, I'll be there. So you signed to K2. How did that come about? I mean, it's one of the biggest booking agents that got, Metallica, Slayer.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because we were with Factory Music, Sharon Richardson, and they got bought by K2, so we kind of became part of K2 by default. But Sharon was told that she could take the artists that she wanted with her and develop them under the K2 banner. And our album came out on September the 29th, on the Friday. And on the 1st of October, on the Monday, K2 dropped us, having booked half of our album tour. This is what we'd been working towards for 5 years since we'd come back. And they didn't drop us prior to booking the tour. They dropped us halfway through booking the tour.
Oh, wow.
So that basically was a massive kick in the balls.
I can imagine.
But even so, you know what? The tour would have been booked for March, April.
Mm-hmm. Which obviously wouldn't happen, yeah.
Yeah. And we never really saw any benefits of being on K2. We never saw any benefits of being on this massive agency. To be honest, I'd rather be a big fish in a small pond, because someone like K2 effectively doesn't give a shit about us. And that's not me crying about it or anything like that. It's just, we live in a world that is a business. And if I'm working at K2 and I'm looking at routing the last leg of the Slayer tour or routing a tour for Acid Rain, I know which one I'm going to be doing. So yeah, I mean, it's I'm not complaining. It's just I'm just stating what happened.
It's the name of the game, isn't it?
And it's the name of the game, exactly. It's the nature of the beast, and that's that such is life. But then we took another agent on board, and he was struggling because he wasn't based in the UK. So then we engaged another agent who's Fat Angel, who were doing a fucking amazing job, and then Corona hit and fucked everything. So yeah. Anybody wants to book us? It's Fat Angel and not K2.
Okay, I think it's on your Facebook page anyway. It's been updated. I did check that.
Yeah. We've kind of left it up there. Yeah, it's also. Oh no, they're not on our Facebook page. Our new agent is on the Facebook page.
Yeah, Fat Angel. I mean.
That's it. Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
Fine.
So yeah, such is life.
Exactly. It is what it is. Okay, well, I'm going to thank you so much for being with us, and I'm sure that the Metal Talk viewers will be absolutely delighted to
Sorry about my face, Metal Talk viewers.
Oh, you can't see a thing, honestly.
It looks
apparently you have an abscess, so but we haven't told anyone. Yes.
Danielle, I've been interesting to find out where are you Jones? Yeah, right. You're so. Where are you from, Danielle?
I'm from Italy. Jones is an
Oh,
required.
Fuck's sake! I was gonna say.
You can hear from my accent, right? Damn it!
Yes, I can. But the thing is that invariably when I say you're Italian, the reply is no, Polish.
I'm not Polish.
But no, well, grazie mille.
Prego.
Il conto, per favore.
Perfect.
And all the other saldi, all the other Italian that I know. Scusi. There you go.
Great accent. You have a great pronunciation. Well done. Yeah, usually Brits struggle. It's a very different accent. So I'm trying to do the opposite. I'm trying to learn diction at the moment to, mellow out my.
That's going to be an absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
That's going to be an absolute nightmare.
Especially with the.
What part of Italy are you from?
Naples. Napoli.
I would love to go to Naples. Maradona's city. I would love to go to. I'd love to go to Naples.
You would love it. It's crazy and loud, just like yourself. So there you go.
Well, I've been to Milan countless times. I don't know
not the same.
I don't know how many times I've been to Milan, but it's a lot. But
it's very different.
Yes, yeah. Well, it's north and south is very different, isn't it?
Mm. Yeah. Milan is a lot more. It's a bit like London, really. It's an industrial city. It's the business hub. So the tone is a lot more contrived, inverted commas. I mean, it's a great city, but no, Naples is loud and chaotic and anarchic. So you would love it.
Yeah,
and the food is amazing. The food is incredible.
Well,
not to blow my, I can't cook. But
the food in Italy in general is amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, no worries there.
I just wanted to ask you one last thing. I found this line, and I wondered whether you wrote this, if it's your own citation. It says, "Remember, it will all be all right in the end. And if it's not all right, it's not the end." Did you write this?
No, it's lifted from. I'm a big fan of a podcast called the Kermode and Mayo Film Podcast. It's been going for about 20 years on. I've been listening nearly as long as that. And it's kind of their mantra, which even prior to coronavirus, it was their mantra, which is, everything will be all right in the end, and if it's not all right, it's not the end. And that was always their mantra. Mm-hmm. And it just seemed perfect to put that on the end, because it just kind of, I wanted to end the video with something upbeat, just a message for everybody to kind of take away. Once you've seen all the hilarity and all the rest of it, that's fine, but it's not going to stay with you. You laugh at it and that's it, and then it's gone. Whereas I wanted something for people to kind of take away at the end. A
message.
Yeah, exactly. And something that not just that they can walk away thinking, "Oh, I enjoyed that. That was fun." And they're smiling, but also like, "Yeah, okay, right, yeah, no, that's, yeah, there is reason to get up in the morning. There is reason to carry on."
Yes, for sure. Oh, well, thank you so much. You've been absolutely fantastic.
Oh, it's a pleasure. And, pleasure. Thank you.
Wish you all the best. Hopefully I'll catch you on stage, either, backstage, or I'll be in the audience for sure. Definitely will be a Bloodstock.
Absolutely. Danielle, whereabouts in the UK are you?
I'm in London.
Oh, hello.
London.
Me too. Whereabouts?
I'm in Tufnell Park.
Ah,
where are you?
I'm over in Hanwell, which is just the other side of Ealing, just before Southall.
Cool. Excellent.
Hello, London neighbour.
Hello, neighbour.
Hello. Cool. We'll catch up for a beer when all this craziness is off.
Absolutely. It's a date. Would love to. Take care. Thank you so much. All the best.
Pleasure.
Take care.
Yeah.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.